Moving on to topic 2, let's talk about VR. So, not too long ago, I decided to treat myself. Wow, I don't know why that's chroma keying out. There it is. Decided to grab the PSVR 2. It was on sale. It was my birthday. I'm getting old. And I said, hey, why not? And I've been diving into that recently. I know we had a discussion with Joe back when it first launched, Mr. Badbit. Shout out to him in the trophy room. About his experience with VR2. And I want to just kind of add on to what he was saying and what my experience with the new headset has been like, and I have been really enjoying it and loving it so far. Haven't played VR all that often recently with the PSVR 1. It just wasn't really driving me to get back there and use that with the setup. It's not awful, but can be a little, what's the term? What's the word? A little bit obnoxious. We'll go with that. It's a little bit of an obnoxious setup to set up the PSVR 1, so I wasn't really feeling it. But this one is definitely much easier, and the little kind of quality of life improvements they have made in this headset, very, very nice, and just kind of adds to the overall experience with the games. So speaking of the games, I have jumped into three titles I have tried out, and there's a few more that I want to try going forward. But the ones I did play Drums Rock, which is kind of like a Beat Saber meets Guitar Hero, where you are just a drummer sitting at a drum set. There's little demons that will fly at you, and you are just playing the drums to the music, hitting the beats, and kind of keeping these demons away and destroying them as they approach your drum set. This is probably the one I put the most time into, and I'm absolutely loving. Really enjoy Beat Saber. As a lot of people are, with the whole, obviously, the music that they have in there and just the exercise and the motions that you're doing. It's just a lot of fun. It seems goofy from outside looking in, but being in that type of experience is a lot of fun. And then kind of harkening back to the Guitar Hero elements, Drums Rock is a lot of fun. There's definitely certain things I wish were better about it. Granted, it's a independent title, so this makes sense, but I wish from a song tracks list there was more that they offered in this game. They do have some add-on content, but in terms of the base game, you don't get a whole lot of music. You get kind of this mixture of licensed music and their own music that they have acquired, whether it's other independent artists or stuff that they've made, and all that stuff is good. It just kind of gets to a point where if you play it for a certain amount of time, you're like, oh, well, I kind of hit that cap already. It doesn't feel like it has that depth that it might need or in terms of a music game. Since the post-launch content, they have added some more licensed music. There's like a mixed pack. I think the most recent one is like a Green Day pack. So that's been cool in addition. But in terms of gameplay, it's a lot of fun. So I would hearken it more, and I know I keep saying hearken, that sounds weird. I would compare it more to the Guitar Hero style, where you have the kit in front of you. You're not going to use the kick pedals. There's no foot controllers, but you have the 4 drums in front of you and 2 cymbals. And each of them are color coordinated, and the demons that fly at you are those specific colors, whether it's green, blue, red, purple, orange, whatever it is. That is the color of the piece of equipment you need to drum on. They got wide variety of difficulties, which if you ramp up, obviously you're definitely going to be like, oh god, I need to hit so much going on. Then it makes it challenging, it makes it enticing to play and fun to keep going after, which I do appreciate. Some of them will also, have, similar to Guitar Hero, will have 2 notes that will come at the same time, so you'll have to hit that. One really fun mechanic, so like Guitar Hero, where you had the whammy bar, where you could use that, kind of get a little bit more points in for your score, for your your run in that song. In this, through the controller, you can either have it, which I will say also, just in general, this controller pretty cool, much better than the motion wand. I think having it like this, pretty nice, very comfortable, circular controller around you. and just like the PlayStation controller. Sorry. You can either have it where you're holding this constantly, and that's like you holding onto the drumstick, or you can have it as a toggle. I find the toggle to be a little bit easier. But as you're drumming, at any point you can flip the drumstick, and if you catch it, that next note you hit will add a multiplier to your score. So there's moments you just feel so badass, just whoop, bah, just hitting things during those lulls or as you get moments. It's just that rush of adrenaline of like, yeah, I'm doing things. It's so stupid, that throw catch thing in VR, but it feels so rewarding. And you don't have to launch it. You definitely can. I don't think the height or the amount of rotations your flip is going to get adds to your multiplayer. You could literally just toss them quick. But it's silly, it's goofy, and it just adds to it of like, wow, I just did that. If you drop it, which, trust me, you will drop it, you can just unsheath it like a sword and grab another stick and just get right back into it. So that's kind of nice. There's plenty of customization too. You can customize your drum kit with the different wraps that they do have available to you, or your hands as they're whipping around. You can give them different looks, which is pretty nice. I haven't got through a lot of their story mode, but for that, it's just your typical run-of-the-mill. Play the song, reach the score. There's different star levels like, oh, you hit so many notes out of the thing, or you got a streak, or you reached this score score limit, whatever it is. So you could do that. That's how you get the unlockables. That's how you get those. Yeah, overall, Drums Rock has been a lot of fun. Like I said, the only thing that's kind of that downside, that negative, is that track list. But if you like it enough and you're willing to go into the post-launch content, that definitely adds to it. I think they have right now, as of recording, 3 more they plan on doing. They haven't released any info of like, oh, it's going to be themed after XYZ, whatever it is. But we'll have to see. So that's been the first one. Then the next game I played was Tentacular. Tentacular is, you're an octopus. You're adopted by this family. I think you're 16 now, and they're like, hey, you got to get a job. And now you got to go and try and find a job for you, the octopus man, to go do. And you're not like Octodad, where you're a human-sized octopus. You're just a giant sea monster like the Kraken around this floating island of little, like, they look like the little people, it was like Playmobil or whatever. They just got like the cylinder bodies and the circular heads, and they're just bopping around or whatever. Very goofy in concept. I played a little bit of that. I think the first job that I had was like taking these carrier, what do you call them? Like containers, the big shipping containers that they bring materials in. Taking those and like sorting them and chucking them at different targets and whatnot. Very funny in terms of the dialogue that the characters are saying. I want to jump back more into it. And this is a little bit of a segue from the games, but this is something I will say in comparison to VR1 that I noticed was a little bit different in VR2. So stepping away from the games, with VR2, you can play it different ways. You can play sitting, you can play standing, obviously depending on the game and what they allow you to do. But one thing you could do here is you can craft or build a play area. So for my experience personally, so far it's been playing it where my desk is at. So, get a little space around me. But as you're setting it up, you can use this like see-through, I don't remember what they call it. It's like, it might just be see-through, passive, whatever it is. So you see through the cameras all black and white, and you can draw your play area. So like, this is a wall, this is where the floor is, I only want to go this amount of distance and whatever. And it's really nice that you could do that, because it will show you in game like, hey, you're getting close to something, we don't want you to trip over anything. So that's been really nice. Some games need a lot of space. Tentacular was one of those games. But I haven't had any issue, with that so far. One thing I have noticed that's a little bit different outside of that play area, which is a plus, that's huge. I don't know if it was just this game in particular, but I tried messing with the settings a little bit. So turning, you can either do what is the default, which is like, I don't know if they call it smooth turning or what they call it, but it's essentially you hitting the right stick on the controller and you will pivot in game. You don't have to actually turn. That's the default. I decided to try, well, what if I move, right? And I look. And that does happen, and that's fine. But if it's like a big turn, like I'm facing forward, I need to face 90 degrees or maybe even 180 degrees, you can do that quick turn, right? Or you can do it yourself. There's something called smooth turning. Now, this, you don't have to move your body. I think I misspoke earlier. Smooth turning, you're not moving your body. But what you're doing is you're moving the right analog stick, similar to probably, any first-person shooter you have played or first-person game, where you hit it and you go, ooh, and, the whole camera gradually moves over there, right? I tried this. When you're standing still, whoa, that messed with my head so much. I was like, I'm getting dizzy. I might fall. So I had to toggle that back right away. But that was the first time I really experienced that. And I don't know if it's just maybe games I played on the PSVR 1, I wasn't really messing around with those settings. Maybe it was just something here. I was like, hey, let's try it out. Oof. The rest of the night I was playing there, it was like, ugh, feeling a little nauseous. Not anything bad, but I was just like, I feel off. Maybe I should stop playing. But in terms of the gameplay itself, circling back to Tentacular, had a lot of fun with it. Haven't played too much of it, just because, once again, that experience I had with the turning and trying that out. But that's one I'd like to jump back into. Like I said, space-wise, maybe I didn't have the most of it. But it seemed like a fun, silly story that they were telling here, with the goofy physics of the giant tentacle arms that you are controlling, trying to suction cup things up, move them around, organize it, whatever it is. So that was fun. And the last one I played was Horizon Call of the Mountain. Now, I've played Horizon Zero Dawn, absolutely loved it. I haven't played, kind of dipped my toes into Forbidden West. So I know the world here, but I don't know everything about it. Forbidden West was... No, sorry, Call of the Mountain. Get your titles right. Call of the Mountain was really, really cool. Firesprite did a phenomenal job with this, of like really immersing you in that world and making you feel like you're there. Like, I got nervous at how real everything looked. I'm like, oh God, some robot is going to jump out at me. I'm going to be so panicked right now, and it's going to be death all over. Well, not all over, but just like experiencing that with the robots. So you start this game, and you're like a prisoner from a rival tribe, and you're with, I presume, what Aloy's group and tribe is. I don't recall the name of the tribe, and I do apologize. But you're with them. They're transporting you on this boat through this river to wherever, they're trying to take you prisoner, I guess. And it looks great. Just seeing all the foliage around you, the water ripples moving past you. When you do eventually see the different robotic animals around you, whether it's a tall neck, those giraffes that like literally walks over top of you, was insane. You saw some crocodile, or what are these, snapjaws? Whatever the crocodile ones are. Seeing those in the water bump your boat a little bit. It was insane. It's very cool to experience. Kind of felt almost like a theme park type experience. Had a lot of fun with it. Eventually you do break free due to the animals kind of disrupting your boat and hunting you down a little bit. And as you're going through this, a lot of this game, if you played, well, quite a few games, but like your Uncharted, your Horizon, your Assassin's Creed, a lot of these games deal with climbing. So you're going to be climbing. That climbing is really cool because you are in control of your hands fully. You have to figure out how to grip, launch yourself at some points to reach higher things. So much fun. Looking down, maybe not so much fun. But the experience of climbing those mountains felt really, I don't know if this is the right word, but visceral. Felt really just rewarding, and like you're really in depth and involved in what you're doing. And it was a lot of fun. I did play around a little bit with the combat. Haven't met any of, or had an interaction yet with any of the robots, so I don't know how that one-on-one combat will be, if it will be too stressful, just dealing with that at the time. But shooting some targets down and using the bow there was also very rewarding. You feel the tension in the bowstring as you're pulling that back, and it feels really cool to actually hit your shots. And you could do it, whatever way you want to hold the bow. If you want to hold bow left, hold it right, pull with whatever hand. You can switch at any time. Don't even need to be in the settings. You could just, however you control those things, you can toggle that on and off, whatever, which is really nice. Another one I dipped my toes in just from how I was feeling the rest of that night, from trying to deal with the turning there. I'm looking forward to playing more of it. So yeah, overall, VR2 has been a fun experience. I'm looking forward to diving more into those games and playing that, whether it's even just the simple, like, get some exercise in, whether it is playing through Beat Saber again or the drums rock or whatever. But there's some other fun experiences I'm looking forward to try out. Heard Pistol Whip is great. Before Your Eyes, I know everybody talks about that being an emotional journey. So looking forward to playing that. Synapse, I heard, is a great story involved with that one. So looking forward to diving more into those experiences here with the second headset. And yeah, just the improvements that they've made there. The headset overall, I'd say, is more comfortable. I like the blinders a little bit better. They do definitely keep things out. The haptic feedback in the headset, a little weird, not gonna lie. Feeling that vibration there. You can toggle that off. I decided to keep it on for now just to see how it was, but that was interesting. The new controllers are definitely nice. Like I said, with it being so similar to the classic controller, and then having these other buttons around where it's just natural of like, I'm gonna click here, I'm gonna do that, whatever it is. That was very nice. So looking forward to trying that out more. I know PlayStation soon, or is going to be putting out like an adapter to use this with your PC. So that just opens a whole nother breadth of games, to be played through that headset. So that'd be interesting. I'm sorry, I did talk about it earlier with the kind of like janky setup of PSVR 1. So with that, you had to set up like this whole chain of HDMIs. It was 3 of them, and then it was that long cable into your headset. This headset still cabled in. It does give you a decent amount of length, so you won't be super close to your console. But the setup, one plug right into your PS5, you're good to go. Absolutely love that. That's very nice. So you don't have to unplug the whole thing like you did have to with your PS4 to set this up, and reset it back up when you're not using the headset. This one, just plug in, you're good to go, as long as you obviously power on the headset and everything's charged. Ready to go. Perfect. Very, very nice. So I've been really enjoying the PSVR 2. If you guys have been jumping into any VR experiences or have any questions, because I know not everybody wants to do that, let me know in the comment section down below. We can chat about it more. But guys, this has been another episode of the Wait What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 221. I don't normally do that at the end, but here we are. My name's Bret, aka Enigma9011. Appreciate you guys hanging out today. If you want to catch this podcast live, you can always go over to twitch.tv/Enigma9011. You can drop a follow over there. You join on the fun and conversation with us. But if you can't catch live, that's a-okay. Go over to YouTube and podcast services the very next week, where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, any way you can support the show, likes, follows, shares, whatever it is. It may seem small, but it does help the channel grow. So if you take the time to do that, we would love and appreciate for it. Hope you guys enjoyed the two, I'd say, wide variety of topics today, differing topics today. Hope you guys had a good time with that. Thanks for giving this a watch, giving it a listen. We'll see you guys on the next one. Take